We don't always have to try something new for lunch on Sundays. Sometimes we end up at a great location like Cafe Rio. Dad's home from the hospital, so we wanted to stop by and see him. We thought we'd bring him some lunch, but Mom thought maybe it'd be better if we just brought dessert. Well, it's seeming to be a very restaurant-heavy geek week, but Monday night the kids came home because they were both on spring break. We went out for dinner so that I could get my free Red Robin birthday burger. After dinner, Melissa and I headed out to the TSA end-of-year banquet. The parents of one of our TSA students runs this beautiful meeting venue in town called Cielo at Castle Pines. It was a little large for our group, but it was better than meeting at the school commons. And after the banquet, we met back up with the kids to open up birthday presents. Just a chunk of wood.
You can, and then you can insert footage of it on. I can do the fancy. Happy New Year!
A man with one
unclock knows the time. A man with two is never sure.
My goal is, of course, to make my office look like Doc Brown's home in Back to the Future. While we were at the banquet, the kids played with Beat Saber on the Meta Quest 2 that we checked out from the library last week. This week was Mental Health Week at school. My seminar class took to decorating my door for the contest that we had. So we've got this interesting weather situation going on right now that the weather channels, the weather stations, the weather apps, the weather everything is talking about all this snow that we're going to get in the next few days. And the library's already closed tomorrow, the school is already closed tomorrow. All of these predictions basically saying 20 inches of snow. At this point in the night, it should have been snowing for probably an hour, maybe 2 hours, but as you saw earlier, it's just raining. As I look at the weather app and all of the weather maps and stuff like that, for the last several days, all of the moisture has been over the state of Washington and Oregon, and they're talking about how all of this weather is going to come into Colorado and just really annihilate everything for the next couple of days. And I don't know why the National Weather Service can't figure out that mountains are a thing and that mountains affect weather. I do believe that we are going to get snow. I just think that most of the moisture is going to fall on the western slope as the moisture is trying to get over the mountains to get to us. I think Idaho and Wyoming are looking like they're going to get a lot. Everything that I'm seeing on these apps just says has convinced me that it's not happening. It's all coming from the West Coast, and weather never comes from the West Coast. So, I'll eat my hat tomorrow. I'll show what the snowstorm looks like. But again, I really just don't think it's going to be 20 inches. I do think we are going to get maybe 6 to 8 inches. So it is going to be a noteworthy thing. I just don't know where this 20 is coming from. I don't have a weather degree. I've never, officially studied it. But my computer science background and just the ability to look at a map and understand what's going on, I think I'm seeing things that these professionals just aren't. And it's really weird to me. So, again, I'll eat my hat. I'll show my video tomorrow, or I'll video tomorrow what the actual storm looks like. So, hopefully, we've already got the day off, so it really doesn't matter. But maybe Friday, we're not going to get the day off. We'll see. Well, looks like it's a compromise. It's not 9 inches, but it's not nothing. So, still think I win because that's a lot less than 9. Well, I said I'd eat it. I'm not going to eat it, but it's a good play. Anyway, I was wrong. Not only did snow get got, we have a good 16 inches. So, well, it was 16 inches the last we measured it, so we're probably around 20. Because it's been snowing literally all day. So here we are on March 14th, and of course it's pie day, so we had to have a chicken pot pie. Well, it did turn into a 2-day school cancellation, an absolutely crazy storm. Sometimes I like it when I'm really wrong. Anyway, I pulled out a puzzle, probably from my birthday last year. Pretty easily did the bottom half, but what's left is mountains and sky. This might slow me down a little bit.
For book club this week, I read The Promised Boys by Nick Brooks. And I would say that by the time I got to the end of the book, I really liked it, but I was pretty ticked off at the beginning. The quote that he started off with was pretty insulting to education, and as you know, Raj is an educator, so I had a lot of strong feelings about that. I felt like about the first 2/3 of the book is more of a character study on 3 young men of color and them just trying to make their way in the world in a kind of high stakes private school situation. The school was horrific, just in the way it was trying to better these young men, but it was very demeaning and wasn't at all about community. It was very rigid. I did not like that part of it. It was a murder mystery, and by the time we got to that, in like the last third, it moved really quickly. It's really hard to read as far as just what these young men went through, and yet it was good. And in the end, I felt like I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I was happy with it, but it took me a while to get there. So, Promised Boys by Nick Brooks. Last night, before midnight, I finished The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and this was a hard book for me to get into at first. It was a story about a young woman who kind of watches her life fall apart and is suicidal. And when she decides to take her own life, she, instead of entering the hereafter, she enters this library where she can try out all of the different lives she could have lived, the different decisions she could have made, and what that looked like. It was really interesting. I think in the end I ended up liking it, but the beginning was really hard for me to just want to process. I felt like the message was really good, and by the end, I felt really happy. Although it didn't end how I thought it might, it was also just a great ending. Very much about taking stock of your life and being aware of what's going on around you. So it ended up being a good book, and I'm glad I read it. I would recommend it.